Big shout out to Prime XBT for sponsoring today's video. If you don't know who Prime are a platform where you can not only trade crypto, but you can also trade FX, commodities, and stock indices. And the beauty of these guys is you can use crypto, either Bitcoin or USDT, as collateral to trade against these pairs. If you want to find out more about them, then check out the links down in the description. And if you do want to trade with them, then use our codes below to get up to a 7,000 USDT deposit bonus and 25% off trading fees. So thanks once again for sponsoring today's video. Good morning, gang. Good morning. Welcome to this week's altcoin update. First and foremost, nothing discussed today is financial advice. It's just for educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor. Now that's out of the way, let's get straight into it. So apologies there was no altcoin video last week, gang. I was having an operation on the Tuesday. I'm still in full recovery mode right now. But the show must go on. So, quick recap. So last video, which was 2 weeks ago now, we were looking at Link and Aptos. So quick recap. What we were looking for on Link at the time, if you remember, is we were looking at potentially of an ending diagonal here. And this is what we were trading, which opened up a trade here, as you guys know. We played this trade back down to the point of control, take profit 1, stops at break even, and in the end, we did get stopped out of this trade. Okay, so this is one thing about trading, and what a lot of these gurus will fail to admit, that we do get things wrong, and that's absolutely fine. Now, the beauty of taking profit 1 and then moving your stops to entry is when you get stopped out, it's still a winning trade in the end. You've still made profit on that trade, and that's understanding how to trade well. But in the end, the idea, we were stopped out. Okay, not a problem. It just happens. You know, you don't have a 100% track record in this game, and if anyone says that they do, they're talking out of the backside. So what happened after that? Well, after that, we came back into the point of control. Never actually lost the point of control on a daily time frame, bear in mind. And then we had another spike up, and then this spike up beautifully came up into the value area high. So for me, that was a short trigger. Okay, so we had the first short down here around the EQ, second short trigger up here at the value area high, and this again, take profit 1 back at the point of control, because we know that this has been a strong level of support in the past. Take profit 1 back at the point of control, stops to entry, and now we'll wait and see what happens. Okay, now for me here, would I be interested in longs down here? Not really, unless I will play in a lower time frame range. Then you may be playing the bottom of this range to the top of this range. And again, valid trades, but for me, I'm not really interested in low time frame plays on altcoins. So my next real area of interest will be coming back down into this value area low. If you get a decent reaction down there, then potentially change your market structure, you got a long trigger. If you get no reaction down there, then let it drop back down to the range lows. If you come back down to the range lows, we've got all these juicy stops down here to rub. Okay, so maybe something like that. Okay, trigger for a long. Okay, if you get no reaction down here, then quite simply, you just let it drop. Okay, if price does turn around here and continue up, then first and foremost, I'll be looking back up into this value area high again. Now, I'll never like to take the same trade twice, unless I get something very obvious, like this was a very obvious reaction. Then I just let it go, let it run. Then potentially looking at this liquidity up here. Okay, get above here, take the liquidity, come back down, and you got another short trigger. Okay, very simple. You know, if you're new to altcoin trading, especially if you're new to range trading, Link is a great altcoin to trade, in my opinion. Great one, because it respects technicals so well. So well. Okay, it always has done, to be fair, since it was created. That's why I do always have a soft spot for trading Link. Okay, so very simple, level to level. Value area high, value area low, outer range, outer range. Okay, trade it level to level. Eventually one side will break. Okay, next, Aptos. So we'll look at this. So we were saying at the time, when we were up here, when we were recording the video, that this wouldn't be a place I'd be looking for longs. If anything, I'd be looking for shorts. Now, I didn't actually take any trades on Aptos because I've already got too many altcoin trades open at the moment, and I don't like overexposing myself. But this would be a level that I wouldn't be interested in trading for a long. I'd be only interested in shorts. And lo and behold, we did roll over. And as we were saying, we had this high volume node here, which lines up with this consolidation here, and we've come back in. So effectively, we're back into this range here. So quite simple. Get out of this range, then you'll be looking back up into this area. Okay? Can it successfully get into this range? If it can get into this range, then you just trade in this range. If it can't get up there, and it just rolls over, then I'd be more interested in the value area high. But if I'm being honest, I much prefer this consolidation here because we do have a higher volume spike. So come back down here, tag into that, change your market structure, and potentially you've got long trigger there. Okay, then you want to see them make sure it gets out of value. Okay, if that doesn't happen, and it just rolls over, then below this region, your next region realistically is back down here at this point of control. Okay, so this is what I was saying the other week. Take profits. If you are long from lower, fantastic, well done, great trade. You can't fault that trade, great trade, but pay yourself. You can always add back in on a pullback. Okay, if you don't take profits and this just does roll over, then you've just given it all back. Even if it doesn't come back down to your entry, let's say you've entered down here. Okay, let's say you've entered down here. Let's just clean up some of these squiggles. Let's get rid of this. Right, let's say you entered down here and you got a fantastic long position. Okay, now price comes up here, you're massively in profit, and then price comes all the way back down here to this point of control. Doesn't stop you out, assuming that you stops are at entry now. Doesn't stop you out, but it comes all the way back down here to then climb again. So what you've got to ask yourself is, why have you just held on to that move of 400 odd % to give it all back to then have to work on it again? When realistically, what you could have done is traded smart, taken a chunk of profits off the table, and then if this does happen, then you can just add those back in. Okay? Or add a smaller amount back in, and then let some ride. Okay? Therefore, you've capitalised on that move, not just once, but then potentially twice. Okay? This is the big thing, you know. People hold on to these and just, you know, want to bag hold forever. Bag hold until it goes to the moon. But if you're smart and you understand how to trade this, then you could have effectively taken a very similar trade twice and doubled your money. Okay? Doubled your initial profits because you understood how to trade it. Okay? So keep an eye on this. If it does come all the way back, you've got the opportunity to get back in. But obviously, if you've not paid yourself up here, then I'm sorry, you're an absolute fool. And people might get angry at my comments on that, but I'm sorry, that's just trading. That's coming from an experienced trader that doesn't give any bullshit out. And it's just how it is. Right, next, FTM. Okay, FTM. I'm interested in this because you guys know I've been posting this on Twitter, and I am actively trading this because of how overextended it is. I always like an altcoin that's looking 300%, very overextended. Zoom into a lower time frame. We can see this. Very extended, right? So there's a couple of ways to look at this right now. Now, one of the Elliott wave counts that I'm looking at this is quite simply, this is a flat. Okay? In that case, I'd be looking for a fresh impulse down, if that's the case. Now, what you've got to understand in a flat is you've got to see if this C leg is finished or not. Now, one thing I do like about the C leg is it's very extended at the moment, but it still could go higher. So we've got to be aware of that. So if we throw it on a fib extension tool, we see we're up to the 1618, and this is in log scale. If we go back down into linear, we're up to the 2-point extension. The trigger for this, for me, for a short up here, was actually based on the FTM BTC chart, because it was a lot cleaner setup. But what I did was I charted it on that, and I executed the trade on the USDT pair. Okay, so I am still sat in a short from up here. So what could happen next? Well, first and foremost, let's throw it on our range fib tool we always use. As we can see here, we didn't quite get up to the outer deviation. Front run it, came back down, tested the old range high, had a nice bounce back up into this deviation, and then from there we've come back down and now we're into the range again. Now if we throw it on a volume profile as well, like we always do, we can see here where the value area high lands. Okay, so for me, not interested in taking any fresh longs here. If, however, we'll come back down to the EQ / value area high, and we get a decent reaction, changing market structure, we roll over here, get this, then you potentially got a long trigger, targeting back up at the range highs. Okay, if you get no reaction there, then I'll be quite happy to let this roll over, and I'll be looking back down at this old range low. We can see the white line here, which is the range low, and the point of control lines up. So down here would be the next area of interest between this point of control, the range low, and the value area low. So for me, if it does come back down here, got a change in market structure on a lower time frame, then you potentially got a long trigger, and we're just continuing to trade this range until it breaks. Eventually one side will give. Okay, what happens if I don't get down here and this just starts to rise? Well, if this starts to rise, first things first, then we've got to pay attention to this consolidation here. Can we get back above there, or does it continue to come down? Okay, if not, if it does continue up, then be targeting the overall highs. Okay, if it clears this and continues up, then we've got to zoom out a bit more then, and what we can do is we can throw on a volume profile of the top of the macro range up here, and what I'll be looking at here, let's zoom into the weekly to make it a little bit more obvious, and we can see here, if we zoom back to 2021, we can see effectively this level here. In fact, let's drag this down. This was capping the market, so it capped the market once, twice, 3 times, broke through it eventually, came back tested it as support, and then we broke through it. So for me right here, if this does just run up, then the next biggest resistance on the chart would be this level right here, which is between 92 cents and call it $1 for easy numbers. Okay, so it's a bit of a zone, is that for me. If you do get up there, then I'll be looking for A, take profit on longs, and B, looking for fresh shorts, because that to me would be a fantastic region to potentially look at if you get the change in market structure. Okay, a higher time frame play. I'll always prefer high time frame plays when it comes to swing trading altcoins. Okay, start from the high time frame, work your way down. Okay, that's effectively what I'm looking at. So quite simply, from the highs, trading this range. If it gets above this range, then looking up here around $1. If not, coming back down towards the EQ, which is roughly around 37 cents, or dropping back down to around 20 cents. Okay, quite simple, level to level. And obviously, if you guys want to understand how to trade like this, and obviously how to get in these kind of swing trades, like we got up here. Now, this is something I actually gave out in my trading plans, my daily trading plans that I gave out in the group. To get involved in that, first and foremost, you have to come over to our website, which is spitfiretraders.com. The link's down in the description. Okay, once you're on that, come down, little Discord logo here, click on this Discord logo, and this will get you into our free Discord group. We've got well over 1,000 members in there now, all sharing various chat ideas, setups, and you can ask questions. The guys will jump in and answer your questions. You know, there's no question that's too daft. That's one big thing about our community, is the fact that you go into an experienced community and you get a bit nervous about asking questions, and you don't want to look like a noob. But at the end of the day, we all started somewhere. You know, I started somewhere. All the experienced guys in the group started somewhere. So never be afraid to ask a question in our Discord group. Okay? Come in, absorb as much information as you can in the free group. If you then want to take the learning to the next level, come up here onto our Pilots course. And on here, you will get access to over 80 hours of educational content. You will get live streams every single week, sometimes multiple live streams, depending on what's happening in the markets. You will get access to my daily trading plans, and you will get access to this whole video library. In fact, we've got this down here. So look, here we go. So there's the video library. So last Wednesday, we did Altcoin Trading Module 3. Which effectively is my strategy for swing trading altcoins. This is how I capture the bigger moves on altcoins. So obviously, it's a very simple strategy as this. The guys were pretty blown away. The feedback received on this was amazing. So yeah, it's such a simple strategy, but it's something that doesn't really get talked about, which is quite surprising. So yeah, if you want to understand how to swing trade altcoins, come check out our course. As I said, it'll cost you the grand old price of 60 quid for all that educational content. So you don't need to be paying $400, $500, $600 to be getting education in this space. You can pick it up for as low as 60 quid. Okay? Right, so that's FTM. Next, OP. We had a request for this. Now, OP is something we have been trading in the group. I know some of the guys have been smashing this because we did have a very, very interesting harmonic that happened all the way back here. So you can see here going into the group. Now, this was shared by one of our co-pilots called Airball. He's probably one of the best harmonics traders I've ever met. He's taken the information that I provided him over a series of months, and yeah, he capitalized on this so well. So you can see here, 26th of August, posted this harmonic. You see where price is, it not quite come back down to the D leg. I gave my feedback because someone else had asked the question on this, and I've said that I actually agree with Airball on this. So this is something that you get in the private Discord. You actually get my feedback on your potential ideas. And lo and behold, what happened in the end? Well, we got this great harmonic play out. So if we see here, we've got the harmonic tool. We came up for the A leg, down for the B leg, up for the C leg, and then ultimately down for D. Okay, so at the time when this was posted, this was around the 26th of August, which was here. So anyone experienced in harmonics knew that, well, your better trade was down here. Don't get me wrong, you still did have a trade opportunity around that. You know, you'd have got 30% out of it. But the bigger trade was waiting for this D leg to come in. So just sitting on your hands and just waiting patiently, having some alerts set on your charts. And then once your alerts come off and just come down to this level, you see the reaction that you like, and then you've got the long trigger. So in the end, this long played out quite nicely. For some reason it's clipping on that, and yeah, a 26R trade out of it if you held onto it the whole way. You know, anyone that's smart knew that you'd take profits along the way. Major resistance zones, but you know, so it's not bad. You know, it's 300 odd %. Okay, so this is the power of trading harmonics. Once again, this is what I teach. I teach this in the group. This is our bread and butter of harmonics, and you've also got the beauty of the guys like Airball that's sharing his harmonics in the group. And you can learn along with him, you know, and if you like the setup, whack it on your own chart and take the setup. It's the beauty of it. So, what can happen next? Well, what we can look at with this, first and foremost, is just going by eye. Being in a channel, broken out of the channel, and now we're coming back into it. Okay. Now, we can't be looking at this as a 1, 2, and that for a potential 3, because if this is a potential 4, we're overlapping the 1. So that Elliott wave count doesn't exist anymore. It was a potential at the time. So let's treat it as a sideways range, like we always do. So let's throw it on range fib tool. And we can see here, once again, very similar to FTM, didn't come up to the outer deviation. We got nice respect at the first deviation. Didn't quite come all the way up. We've come back down. We've back tested. We've come back down to the old range high. Slight bounce, and now we're coming back into the old range, and we're hanging around in this cluster here. Now we can see that a little bit more clearly if we throw on a volume profile. There we go. And we can see we've got a high volume node just here. In fact, just at the bottom of this wick here. High volume node. I can't speak this morning at all. Okay, so to the upside, you've got the resistance coming in roughly around 232. To the downside, you got your local support, which is coming in at 207. So get back up outside of this, then you'll be trading back up into this consolidation here. Okay, don't get outside of this and it rolls over, then you'll be looking back down at this value area high first and foremost. Does that offer support? If that doesn't offer support, then let it drop further. Okay, if it does, apologies for that, guys, just got broke off with the dog barking at the delivery driver at the door. Bringing my wife a new vacuum cleaner as a present for Valentine's Day. I'm sure that's going to go down well. Anyway, what we were saying. If price comes back down to the value area high, first and foremost, do I get a reaction? If not, then I'll be looking back down at the EQ. Now, this EQ obviously has acted as resistance before, and support. Resistance broke through, back tested it as support before the drive up. So initially, I'll be looking back down at this EQ. Now, if this EQ doesn't give us anything, then the next major support, realistically, is this point of control. Okay, so we're just playing this level to level. Okay, this isn't an area, realistically, where I'd be looking to long, because from a risk to reward perspective, you've got the range high just above you. So what's the point in longing here into support? Yes, it could break up and continue up, but realistically, you're looking at 4% into your next resistance level. Just not a trade I'd be taking on altcoin unless you were trading really low time frames, which, you know, if you are, great, fair enough. Okay, so that's it. Dead simple, level to level. Not a time to get overly bearish, not a time to get overly bullish, but we are within the old range, at the range high, okay? So for me, preference would be on shorts. Now, I'm not saying short here. I'd be looking ideally for a drive up before fresh shorts, but that's how we're playing it, okay? Right, that'll do. If you've enjoyed today's content, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any more videos. And obviously, if you've not caught up on our educational free playlist, then I'll leave a link on the screen at the end of the video to join that. Okay, guys, once again, thank you. Bye-bye.